Good morning. Our today's topic is filtration. Actually, we will discuss about the principles of different filtration units which are used popularly in chemical process industries. Filtration is mainly separation of solids and liquids from the suspension. Principal filtration, if we see that one separator will be there or filtering media which will play the role of separating solid particles from the suspension. And this is the picture kind of you see. This is the filtering media, and suspension is fed from the top. So the liquid will come out through the porosity of the filtering media and will be collected, and the solid materials will be deposited on the surface of the filtering media. So the principle of filtration, if we say filtering media is permeable only to the fluid, and it retains the solid particles and permeates only the fluid. And so with time on the surface of the filtering media, the solids will be depositing more and more and more. So ultimately, what will happen? The layer of the deposited solid, they will resist further to penetrate the liquid through it. So the rate of filtration with respect to filtrate, that will be reducing with time. So filtration process can be explained in two ways, either in constant rate of filtration or the constant pressure filtration, because you see uh, pressure gradient across the filtering media, that is actually the driving force for the filtration process. So obviously by increasing the layer of deposited solid on the surface of the filtering media, the pressure gradient will be increased gradually increased pressure gradient difference, isn't it? So what will happen? The rate of filtration, that will be gradually decreasing. So if we want to keep the process at constant pressure gradient, then what we'll have, we have to keep the delta P across the filtering media. But in that case, if we keep the value of delta P constant throughout, then the rate of filtration, means the rate of filtrate coming out, that will be gradually decreasing, and this is actually this one, isn't it? If we keep the pressure constant, then the rate of filtrate coming out, that will be gradually decreasing with this red line. But if a constant rate, if we keep the process in the mode of constant rate filtration, means we want to get the filtrate will come out at a constant rate. In that case, we have to increase the feed pressure. We have to increase the feed pressure gradually, so that the resistance which is being offered by the deposited solid, that will overcome. So that pressure will overcome that resistance, and then only it is possible to keep the flow rate of filtrate constant, otherwise not. So cake filtration, the principle, this is called cake filtration. So the characteristics of cake filtration is like this. Actually, the slurry, porous medium or septum. So as more slurries filter, the solids retain on the medium, that provide most of filtering action. So the deposited solid, which is this is in the form of cake, they will play again additionally, they will play additionally as a separating media, isn't it? So that's why it is required to provide more and more delta P. Otherwise, that resistance cannot be overcome. As time goes by, the thickness of the cake increases. As more solids are filtered, this results in a corresponding increase of the pressure resistance across the cake. If the cake is incompressible, it does not change its volume as pressure build up. This is the characteristics for the incompressible cake. Actually, incompressible cake means it is not dependent on the delta P. It is independent to delta P. So the pressure resistance increases proportionately to the cake thickness. However, since most cakes are compressible by nature, the pressure across the cake typically increases even faster than the cake build up, as I mentioned. So, few examples of cake filtration like filter press, belt filter, vacuum filter. Vacuum filter means rotary vacuum, belt filter, rotary vacuum, pre-coat filter, vacuum disc filter. These are the different design of the vacuum filters. Cake filtration is intrinsically a batch process, that is a filter press, plate and frame filter press. These are generally operated in a batch process because with some time of filtration, the it will get exhausted. So we have to clean it further, and then after cleaning the device, then again it will be taken online. So a time gap is required in between. So it cannot be used in a continuous process successfully. But whereas the vacuum filters can be utilized in a continuous process because continuously or simultaneously filtration, washing, and ejection of the deposited cake. These three steps are periodically executed in a single cycle. So that's why the vacuum filters can be successfully used in a continuous process. Backwashing is actually after filtration of the cake filter, like plate and frame filter press. So when the filtration, the cake filter is exhausted, then it is required to provide washing. And generally, the washing is performed in the opposite direction to the filtration, to the direction of filtration. So after filtration, the process is stopped, means the feeding of the slurry is stopped, and then the washing liquid or liquid or water, in most of the cases water is supplied from the opposite side of the filter, so that the deposited cake will be well washed, means the entrapped solvent that can be washed out, and after washing that we can collect the deposited solid in the form of cake. Type of filter, as I mentioned, that cake filter, clarifying filter, cross flow filter, ultra filter. Cake filter is common, as I mentioned. The filter cake grows in the course of filtration and becomes thicker. With increasing layer thickness, the flow resistance of the filter cake increases, and after a certain time of use, filter cake has to be removed from the filter. And after that, the backwashing or back flushing is required to provide. Clarifying filter is some extent its design is different. So any filter such as sand filter, a cartridge filter used to purify liquids with a low solid liquid ratio, low solid liquid ratio means where the solid content is very low. Slurry solid concentration in the slurry is low. Generally, this clarifying filter is popularly used in water treatment process or effluent treatment process, where the raw water is collected. It is allowed to pass through the clarifying filter, so the suspended liquids, dirt particles, and in case of effluent from the plant, the suspended particles that will be completely removed through this clarifying filter. Cross flow filter is basically, this is a kind of filtration in the membrane separation process. Cross flow, because in the membrane separation process, in the reverse osmosis process, you will find that the flow of the slurry, the flow of the suspended liquid, that that is being executed parallelly to the surface of the membrane. So in that case, this is called the cross flow filter. In the picture, you will find that the direction of flow of the suspended solid is in the parallel to the surface of the membrane, and vertically on the other side, vertically we will get the clarifying liquid. So this is called the cross flow filter. Filtering media and filtering aid. Filtering media, generally, filtering media means it is woven clothes. In most of the cases, you will find the woven clothes. Woven clothes are used as the filtering media. That may be cotton cloth, that may be nylon cloth, depending on the nature of slurry. If the nature of slurry is corrosive, in that case, wire mesh can be used. So the pores should not become plugged so that the rate of filtration becomes too low, too slow. So that parameter you have to keep in your mind always. The filter media must allow the filter cake to be removed easily and cleanly. So that the media, filtering media is to be selected in such a way that there should not have any adhesion of the deposited cake, deposited solid from the surface of the filtering media. So that should be another criteria for selecting the filtering media. So one, the whether it is corrosive or not, or it has the adhesion, it has the adhesion with the surface of the filtering media or not, that is to be mentioned, and that is to be kept in your mind. Some widely used filter media are twill or dark wave, heavy clothes, wooden clothes, paper, felted pads of cellulose, metal clothes, nylon clothes, Decron clothes, and other synthetic clothes. They are used popularly as the filter media. And filter aid is different thing. Filter aid is a material which is used to enhance the time of filtration, because in cake filtration process particularly, due to with time the deposited solid will be high on the surface of the filtering media, and they will be deposited in the form of cake, and gradually the thickness of cake will be increasing. So as the thickness of the deposited cake is increased, it will provide more resistance to filtration. So one time will come when the resistance is sufficient and no flow is there. So if we keep it normally, then there must have a fixed time of filtration. But how to increase the time of filtration further? So using filter aids is one of the options by which the time of filtration can be further extended. And the use of filtering aid uh, is different. Actually, there are two types of two methods of using filtering aid. Two methods of using filtering aid. One is just put the filtering aid on the slurry itself. When our mainly when the filtration process, when our main objective to get the filtrate, not the solid. In that case, the filter aids are directly added into the slurry. And what is the function of filter aid? So when the solid is deposited on the surface of the filtering clothes, along with the solid, that filtering aids, that is, or that will also be deposited with the solids, so that it creates some porosity. So instead of depositing the solid particles on the surface of the filtering media, in presence of filtering aids, they will provide some additional porosity in the deposited cake. That's why the time of filtration will be further extended. But when in the filtration process, when our objective is to get the deposited solid is our target material. In that case, the filter aids are used in the form of pre-coating. How it is used? Initially, the filter aids are taken. It is mixed with a liquid, the solvent, not solvent, in a liquid. Generally, the water is used and make a paste. And that paste is applied on the surface of the filtering media initially. Keep it for some time. After that, filtration process is started. So that what will happen, the porosity of the filtering media, that will be not choked, that will not be choked because of having a layer of filtering aids. So generally the diatomaceous earth, the silica actually, there is wood cellulose. These are popularly used as the filter aids. This is bed filter water purification process. You will find using beds. Different beds are there. They are using the coarse particle, then fine particles, making a several beds so that the liquid to be filtered, that is put from the top, allowed to pass through, and the clarified liquid will be collected at the bottom. And this is very common, and earlier it was used in the water treatment plant. In most of the chemical process industry, you will find this kind of bed filter is popularly used. Plate and frame filter press is a common kind of filtering device which is having plate and frame, which is alternately it is arranged, and the filtering media is wired with the frame, not the plate, with the frame, and the filter clothes is wired with the frame, and it is placed alternatively with plate and frame. So depending on the process demand, the number of plates and frames are used. Just I'm showing the picture. You see, this one is called this hollow, the middle portion hollow, this one is called frame, and this is plate. The main objective of using plate is the slurry is spreaded over the surface of the filtering media. It helps to spread out the slurry over the filtering media. So this is this kind of, you can see this is the frame is where with the filtering media, and another one is plate. So it is arranged one plate one frame, one plate one frame, one plate one frame. Means frame means it is frame is covered with the filtering media. Like in this way this is arranged, and these are closed packing with a very high pressure, so that during the journey of the slurry through it, there should not have any leakage in between. So the slurry is fed under high pressure and it will travel through this corner of plate and frame. So at the frame is covered with the filtering media. So when slurry is entering into the frame, that will be under high pressure. Under high pressure, the liquid will penetrate inside the filtering media and they will come out from another channel, and the surface of the filtering media, the solid will be deposited here. So in this way, the several plates are there, several frames are there. So several frame means several filtering media is there. So ultimately, from the opposite end, the clarifying liquid in the form of filtrate will be coming out. This is called lip filter. Lip filter is it is covered. Different leaves are there. The leaves are several leaves are arranged in a series, and the leaves are covered with the filtering media, and the whole leaf assemble is placed inside a chamber. And generally, when filtration of the corrosive liquids are required, then this lip filter is popularly used. And this is rotary drum filter, which is used in the continuous process. As I mentioned, this is the drum, cylindrical drum. The drum is covered with the filtering media, and this is a slurry bath. This is slurry bath, and this drum is submerged. It's submerged 30%, 35%, 40%, it is submerged. And inside the drum, vacuum is created. So under the action of vacuum, and it is the drum is rotating with a slow RPM. Slow RPM, it is rotating in the in this way. So what will happen? Inside the drum, vacuum is acting there, and the slurry is open under atmospheric pressure. So if delta P is created, so by the action of that delta P, the slurry will be sucked inside of the drum. So what will happen? The liquid will enter, and drum is perforated wall. Drum is having perforated wall. So the liquid will enter inside the drum, and the solid particles will deposit on the surface of the filtering media covered with the drum. And slowly with low RPM it is rotating. So it will come out from the slurry, and the cake, a layer solid cake will be formed. And when it comes in this position, the water showering is there, so that the deposited solid material will be washed thoroughly. And after then, when it comes in this side, the air, hot air is jet, hot air is provided there. So under the action of hot air, after washing, the solid deposited cake will be dried up, and when it comes in at this position, one guide blade is placed. So by the action of guide blade, the deposited solid material in the form of cake, which was washed thoroughly, then it is dried, and after that the dried mass will be come out taken out from the surface of the filtered media, and thus the solid material is separated in a continuous process. This is popular device. This is popularly used in many chemical process industries. Another kind of continuous rotary filters are there. Vacuum dryer, rotary vacuum dryer filter, rotary disc filter, rotary horizontal filter. Okay, so today up to now, next day we will discuss about how mathematically the filtration rate of filtration is calculated, and what are the different parameters, influencing parameter, and how it influences on the process of filtration. Thank you.